Welcome back into another episode of Rounding Third Baseball Podcast. I'm Nick. We got Harrison tonight. How we doing, bud?
Awesome, Nick. Good week. How about you?
Not too bad. Another kind of slow news week, but we have some tea to
we got
spill.
some
That
stuff
is
to
for
talk
sure.
about.
Yeah, we have got a lot of things to talk about, mostly about one organization that, we're pretty passionate about. But
The Northeastern Dumpster Fire. Let's do it.
There's a lot of drama going on there. But before we get cranking into that, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Leading off, the Boston Red Sox are in shambles. I mean, there's no other way.
That's actually a compliment, I think, to their situation.
All right. So here we go. It starts off with Sam Kennedy throws Craig Breslow underneath the bus. I mean, just throws him into oncoming traffic and just throws him in there. And it's like, he said that the checkbook was open. That's what Sam Kennedy supposedly has told Craig Breslow. And then in other ways, the Red Sox are saying, well, we have to cut payroll to stay underneath the tax. Okay, so which one is it? Like, those aren't adding up. Like what are we doing? So there's tons and tons of outrage online from fans, from the Red Sox Nation, and rightfully so. I mean, Boston Red Sox fans are not dumb baseball fans.
No, this is a smart, passionate fan base.
Yes, they are very educated about their Boston Red Sox and what this team should be. Having said that, Sam Kennedy releases a quote later in the week that goes exactly like this, and I quote, "If you think for 1 second that we aren't passionate, committed, dedicated to the Boston Red Sox, you're wrong, you're a liar, and I'll correct you on it because it's total BS," end quote. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. This ownership group just needs to go away. Sell the team and give it to somebody that is going to make this team a contender. They are happy just being in the basement. That's what they're telling me.
Well, I would think what they're telling you is they're happy to continue just to make money on the team and put out a product that's just good enough to not get laughed off the field. But that's the extent of it. I mean, we've been talking about this for a little while with the Red Sox. They have a lot of other interests. They've got their racing team and their soccer club and their the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they brought in other celebrity type investors like LeBron. And now they're making a bid for the PGA Tour. Like, they're trying to build a kind of a sports franchise empire. So they went from the Red Sox were the only kid in the family. So now they've got 3 or 4 others, maybe a 5th one on the way. And it's just, it only gets the attention that it warrants. So any of you that are parents out there, you get, when you can spend all of your time on one kid versus 2, 3, 4, 5, like, you just can't give them the same amount of time. And that's where the Red Sox are. The Red Sox are now the oldest team they've had. They've had success. They've made some money. They've got a massive valuation on this thing. It prints money because it's Boston and fans are nuts. They've got other interests and they're focusing on that and they're spending the money on that. And the Red Sox are nothing more than an ATM to them at this point. It makes them money every year. They put it into other stuff. It's worth a fortune. So if they want to sell it, they could. And I think they are. I think they're building up to a point where they could sell it. But this organization just, it's kind of, they've fallen out of love with it. It's just there. So for them, they've got other exciting ventures that they're focused on. This just isn't it anymore. Sam Kennedy was always just kind of a corporate shill for them. And anybody who's followed the Red Sox for a long period of time, and you can probably see this, Nick, nobody really knows what Sam Kennedy does. And most Red Sox fans barely know who he is. But he just kind of like pops out a couple times here and he's like, "Hey, how we all doing? Cool." And he disappears again. Because just like the ownership group, he's their guy and he's off on other stuff too. So
yeah,
it's a shame because when Chaim Bloom left, we all went, why would he leave right now? Like, why would they make the decision to leave right now? My guess is they had to sit down and basically Chaim was like, I'm not doing what you guys want to do. And they said, well, fine, then we'll find somebody who will.
Yeah.
They brought in Breslow, but then a guy's been on the job for 2 months and you just basically rubbed his reputation in the dirt in front of all your fans. And now the perception is, well, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like, they've effectively trashed him in 60 days. Well, they continue to not have a desire to compete and pay money, and yet they want to tell us fans that it's our fault. It's a level of dysfunction I've never seen in the sports organization. And there's lots of examples of, the Yankees had their years where they were a hot mess. The Patriots arguably have been a mess. The Lakers had their years where they were a mess. The Spurs have been like, every organization goes through some turmoil, but like this has gone right off the rails since about 2019.
When there's 100 million people in Red Sox Nation saying, what on earth are you doing? Why aren't you spending money to get us free agents and a competitive team? Like, we're not lying. We're not like, what are you guys doing? And again, we've said this before. Like, if you just tell us the plan, then they'll be on board with you. But you're saying that you have an open checkbook, your GM's not doing what you want, but then yet in the background you're saying, oh, we got to cut payroll. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. And then on top of that, fan weekend, Jared Carrabis, there's a video going around on X or Twitter or whatever it is now. He asked the question straight up to John Henry and Sam Kennedy, are the Red Sox a top priority for you? John Henry literally in the video just goes like this away from Sam Kennedy.
He ducks behind him.
Literally dodges. And Sam Kennedy goes off on some other random rant. Like, just completely avoids the question. It's unreal.
Well, and we talked a few weeks ago about the fact there's rumors the Red Sox were freezing their payroll, but nothing had been said. They basically confirmed it over the weekend. They're not going to spend more money than they did last year. They're not going to invest in long-term expensive free agents. They're not going to spend more money. This is all you're going to get. And you and I were looking up before we came on the show. They're at like $185 million in total payroll with all the pre-arbitration and deferred money and all that stuff rolled up. Competitive balance tax is at $237 million. They've got $52 million to spend during next season, which could buy you a couple of really good pitchers. And they're kind of like, meh, we don't really want to spend more than last year. So you're going to end up again with a, couple good guys and a few roster fillers and another 500 ball club.
I just don't understand it. I don't get it. We're playing small market ball with big market money.
Well, and that's the frustrating part is that this is Boston. This is, like we said last week, this is not Kansas City. This is not Milwaukee. This is freaking Boston. You're one of the top 5 markets in the entire country. There's very few teams that can, in theory, outspend you.
Right.
I can't. Here we are. We're in the middle of the pack. We're in the top 10 of payroll, but most of it falls off a cliff after that. And you're not putting a competitive product out there. And so what it tells me is they are 100% banking on Chaim Bloom's farm system to begin delivering major league ready players next season. And they're gonna bank on building a team like the Orioles have off of young guys that are cheap.
But it's not going to be the Orioles farm system coming up. Like, yes, there's some nice talent.
Yep.
I'm not saying there isn't, but it's not Orioles quality young talent. We have one or two guys that will perform, but we're not looking like guy after guy after guy coming up and making an immediate impact on the team.
Yeah, the Red Sox right now, they're 26-man payroll. This is like just straight payroll. You're talking $180 million. They'd be 10th in the league. They're being outspent by the Mets, the Yankees, the Astros, the Phillies, the Braves, the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, the Cubs. Everybody's going to finish in the standings ahead of them. And do they have to spend $237 million? Well, no, they don't have to spend that kind of money. But could you spend 200 and get us another pitcher? Could you provide a competitive product? Because what we're seeing here ain't it.
No. Apparently, Teoscar Hernandez, when he met with the Red Sox, they were like, hey, well, we have to cut a little bit to offer you a deal and blah, blah, blah. And then Teoscar left there and was like, yeah, no.
Well,
So
Yeah.
like top free agents are going and visiting Boston and being like, yeah, they don't know their ass from their elbow. They're so lost that I'm not spending years there.
No, and we
Just
talked about
not.
how bad a deal that was for Teoscar Hernandez, and I said, it must have been that he didn't want to go to the places he was wanted, Anaheim and Boston. Come to find out, he didn't. He didn't want to go there, so he was willing to take a bad contract with the Dodgers just to not have to go to Boston or Anaheim.
And that says so much about the state of the Red Sox right now.
The Red Sox used to attract talent. People wanted to come to Boston, big city, big market, rabid fan base, always competitive. And now players are like, nah, I'd rather go somewhere else. That place is kind of a mess. And you got a guy like Craig Breslow, his first job as a GM. He's been already dragged through the mud. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's with a ball club that's not serious. So what kind of resume is he building here? I mean, this is the kind of guy that, like, if I'm him at the end of the season, I might be like, look, I'm not going to stay. Like, I'm going to go find something else because I'm not going to ruin my career with you schmucks.
Right. I mean, it started off well too. I mean, like they got Verdugo out of there, which we all kind of know the backstory on Verdugo.
Yeah.
It was
and I still
kind of
question
sloppy.
it's still to me. I mean, like Jonathan Papelbon continues to like rant and rave about Verdugo, but like Verdugo didn't come across as a bad guy. He and Cora just had some kind of weird falling out last year, and the organization is clearly picking Cora over anybody else.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. Like Verdugo leaves, he replaced, Breslow, like first week gets Tyler O'Neill in there, and we're just like, all right, like we're going to have a fairly active offseason. And then it's almost like the ownership was like, whoa, dude, like, what are you doing? Why are you wheeling and dealing these guys? Like, stop. Like, what are we doing? We don't make moves in the offseason. Stop what you're doing.
Yeah, they haven't signed a big name free agent now, and I think maybe since sales contract.
Yeah, and I mean he wasn't even really like I wouldn't classify him as a free agent.
Well, true. I mean, just like Devers. Devers wasn't a free agent either. You just re-signed him.
Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on, but the Red Sox owners need to get out of there. If they're not making the Red Sox a priority, they need to go. It's time.
Yeah, this is Boston. It's too big a market for this little payroll nonsense. Cutting cost and all. I mean, the Red Sox were one of the most profitable. They were one of the most profitable organizations last year because they didn't spend any money. They made a whole bunch and they took it and spent it somewhere else.
Right.
And they're continuing to do that. And Red Sox fans are going to lose their mind. That place, I would not be surprised if the Red Sox come out of April and they're not playing good baseball. Fenway Park won't be full. People will stop coming. Because this is a fan base that we love this team and we love this organization and we will support them. But when we can see the fact and smell the fact they're bullshitting us and they expect us to support a less than average team, people are going to stop showing up. They're going to pull their support and that place will be empty fast.
It is going to be like an Oakland A's 2.0. Like, obviously completely different situations with like stadiums, whatever. But you're right. We are educated enough as baseball fans, as Red Sox fans, that if we know ownership's dicking us around and they're just using us to collect our money, we're going to stop going. We are. And it's just, they need.
And in a way, I'm kind of glad that I'm blacked out of the Red Sox broadcast MLB TV because I don't want to watch them anyways. And honestly, I didn't want to watch them last year either. And I didn't. Like, I can honestly count on maybe two hands the number of innings I watched the Red Sox all year because that team just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they just weren't good. They didn't even play good baseball. Like, they played a very sloppy, haphazard game that just wasn't fun to watch. And we're going to get more of that this year because this team is not any better.
It was almost like the Devers extension was just like, oh, this will hush them up for a little bit more.
Hey, we got our guy, and now we're just going to kind of ride it out for a little while. But, I mean, the Red Sox right now, if they don't go make some big moves, they're headed for a fifth place finish again. They're just going to own the basement of the AL East for the time being.
Yep. And for the next few years.
Yeah. And the hard part is that as they continue to sit here and do nothing, the teams around them are getting that much better. The Yankees are so much better than last year. The Orioles will be better than last year just based on the fact those young guys have gotten experience.
Yep.
The Rays are going to be good again. And the Blue Jays, they're going to be good, but we don't know what they're going to be. But still, it almost doesn't matter. They're still going to be better than the Red Sox.
It has to be so frustrating for a low market team to sit here and watch the Red Sox offseason, knowing that they could spend money where these teams would love to spend money to get premier talent onto their team, and they just can't do it. Well, the Red Sox can do it and have the means to do it, and they choose not to. That's going to be so frustrating for, your Rockies teams, your Padres teams that are taking out loans just to make their team run. Like the Tigers, although the Tigers are trying to make moves. There's moves out there to be had.
Kansas City Royals have signed 2 people away from the Red Sox.
Exactly. And that might also go to show the Red Sox blew the interviews with the players.
Yeah.
The players went in there and then they're like, yeah, we're not going there. That place is a mess.
There's so much. It's just, you think of college recruiting, free agency, like players go where they're drawn to, like where they think the best opportunity is going to be. Clearly these guys are like, I don't think it's Boston. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I mean, Seth Lugo goes to the Kansas City Royals over the Red Sox. So either they blew him away, which all indications are he had the same offer from the Red Sox, but he picked somebody else. Teoscar Hernandez picked somebody else. Like, we continue to see players pick somewhere else. And then I feel bad. Craig Breslow today is trying to defend the Yamamoto thing, basically saying, we made the absolute best offer we could, and we were right in the ballpark, and he chose somewhere else. Like, doesn't always go our way, and we're disappointed. But it's like, why does he have to defend himself?
Right.
Yamamoto looked at the Red Sox and he's like, no, I'll go to the Dodgers. And in the meantime, all this is happening while the Red Sox have rumors of trying to deal players to get under a payroll threshold. These guys hear the news too, and their agents are saying, "Hey, no, Boston, don't return their phone call. We don't want to go there."
No.
These guys aren't dumb. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
This organization is on a road to nowhere.
Yeah. What was the news? It was Story and Yoshida.
Story and Yoshida. They apparently are shopping.
Absolutely.
Because so originally it came out a few weeks ago. The Red Sox were freezing their payroll and they were not going to be able to sign anybody else until they moved either Trevor Story or Yoshida, because they had to free up payroll capacity and space to go sign these other guys. They've got $50 million to go until they get to the competitive balance tax, but they need to trade these players to sign anybody. Absolutely. And then we heard about a payroll freeze. Then all of a sudden this weekend, it proved it all, that this organization's basically saying, hey, we're not investing here. We're not spending more money. We're not trying to compete. And although that's obvious, we want you to believe otherwise, which is kind of a joke. They have to be preparing to sell the team. There's no other explanation than that. They're going to make the books look as pretty as they can. They're going to make sure there's no ugly long-term contracts in place. And that way, when they sell the team, there's no concerns or risks. A new person can just buy it and take it over and run it. They don't inherit any junk.
Yeah. Look, we have a young up-and-coming talent. They're all yours. And you're in the black. You're not in the red anywhere.
But you look at this Red Sox roster. You're going to have a lot of your veteran talent turn over in the next 12 months because you signed a lot of 2-year contracts.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a lot of guys in the next season and the season after that. You're going to turn this whole roster over, other than Devers, who's here for the long haul.
Right.
But you're going to turn a lot of these guys over.
Man,
it's not good. This team is going nowhere. They're not making any effort. They don't plan on making any effort, and they want us to believe otherwise, which Red Sox fans are not going to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, the quote that I said earlier just sounds like a guy that feels like he's backed into a corner.
100%.
And he's just trying to fight his way out somehow, some way. And it's almost to the point, like after seeing that video with John Henry just almost washing his hands with that question, like it could be taken two ways, right? It could be taken as in like, wow, what a ridiculous question.
Yep.
But if you chose to do it that way, it doesn't look that way because of the state you are currently in. It was a bad time to do that if that's what you were trying to get across as your message.
Yep.
To me and everybody else, all the rest of Red Sox Nation, looked like you were just sidestepping the question because your hands are in 5 other cookie jars. Like, yeah, it's time to go. It's time.
It is. And then there's an article comes out today that the Red Sox are actually trying to convert this Cooper Criswell kid into a starter because they're gonna need to fill out the rotation. And the Red Sox are confident because they've completely retooled their player development and pitcher development program. So it'll be no problem having Garrett Whitlock, Tanner Houck, Josh Winkowski, Cooper Criswell all stretched out, so they've got options for the 4th and 5th starter. Like, this is the freaking Boston Red Sox.
It's a good plan.
You're signing guys off the street in hopes they can become a pitcher for you. Like, what happened? Like, how do we get here?
There's bullpen arms out there to be had. Like, Hector Neris is still out there. You could, if you're gonna stretch out a guy, then stretch him out and put him in the rotation. Don't stretch him out and then be like, what are we gonna do with him?
Right. Then you throw him back in the bullpen, and and they just continue to look like they don't know what they're doing. And I mean, the headlines coming out of this weekend have been great. You know, the Red Sox don't get it. Red Sox banking on unlikely scenarios. You know, payroll freeze is a joke. Like, the articles and the headlines coming out of this weekend have been awesome because they're just getting fried by everybody. I mean, Boston media is destroying these guys.
Yeah, rightfully so.
And rightfully so. It's not good. Right. The Red Sox are going to be basement dwellers for a while.
Yeah. So buckle up or stay home. Like,
yeah, or find another team to watch because this one ain't going to be worth watching.
Yeah. Unreal. All right, we'll switch gears a little bit here. And the last couple days has been absolutely amazing. If you follow any type of baseball page out there, Anthony Rendon, of all people, Anthony Rendon comes out and says, the Major League season is just way too long. Dude, shut up. You've played 25 combined games since you signed your contract in 2019. Stop. Just stop. You're complaining. You, of all people, are complaining that the season's too long, and you play an average of 45 games a year. Average. And that might be high. Like, just stop, dude. Do I agree? I agree that 162 might be a little bit long if your ultimate goal is to expand the playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you're getting these 2 expansion teams within the next 5 or 6 years, you're going to have to expand the playoffs by 2 teams on each side to make it even. So yeah, maybe you drop back down to the 154. But Anthony Rendon is not the guy to open his mouth and say that the season's too long.
No, it's funny because here's a guy in 2014, he played 153 games. 15, he played 80. 16, he played 156. 147 and 17, 136 and 18, 146 and 19. He played most games. 2020, he played 52 games, which was like 90% of the season.
Right.
And then it's been 58, 47, 43. I mean, the guy hasn't seen a full season in 3 years. I mean, that was the first response I had. Does he even know how long the season is? Because he hasn't actually played a full season in quite a while.
My God, man.
And I get it. You know, his argument was 162 games in 185 days is crazy. Yeah, you're right. That's a lot. And people think, well, it's just baseball. You spend most of your life just standing around. You know, and the baseball season is a grind. It absolutely is a grind.
Yeah.
And that I think that's what makes the World Series that much better, is that you've been at it basically every day for basically 7.5 months. You know, there are not a lot of days off, and that's the thing I love about baseball. Like, it's always there.
Right.
You know, from basically March 1st, because the first couple weeks of February spring training are pretty quiet. From March 1st into October, and now basically these days into November, baseball's there. It's there for you every day. And it is a grind. It is a grind. These guys go through a lot, and it's a lot of nicks and scratches, and they're banged up and they're tired, like all that stuff. But lots of other guys have played through the season no problem. Anthony, you're not exactly the poster child for a guy who's been playing most of the seasons and gets wiped out in September. You haven't been out there.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to say about that?
I love the comments where it's like, Anthony, I worked 320 days this year, all 10-hour days in a manual labor job. I think you can go out and play a game. Like, yeah. I mean, I understand it's apples and oranges. I get that.
It is, but the rest of
this
the world
is-
looking at him like, "Are you kidding me, guy?"
I bet even the baseball world is like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh, for sure. For
Like,
sure, those
what?
baseball players probably text him after he sent that. He said that just like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you
Just-
picking that fight?" If I'm his agent, I'm like, "Dude, you got nothing to stand on here. Like, you haven't played a full season in 3 years.
No,
What are you doing?"
crazy, absolutely crazy.
Even if the season was 100 games, that dude still didn't play more than half of them.
No,
Like, who cares?
nuts.
He's the wrong guy to make that argument. Now, if Cal Ripken comes out and says, "Man, the season's too long," you know what, Cal? You'd know.
Yeah, right.
Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout, you guys don't know.
No clue. Man. All right. We have a couple free agent things to discuss real quick. I mean, nothing huge other than the Astros signing Josh Hader to 5 years, $96 million. So he didn't get his 105, but he still got his 96.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
He's going to Houston, where he's going to be in the ALCS every season. So
yeah,
it's okay, Josh. You'll be fine.
And I think that's great for
Actually,
the Astros.
You think about it, with playoff shares, he'll probably make his 105.
Probably. But that's such a great signing for the Astros because they don't have a lefty in the bullpen.
They don't, but their bullpen is gross.
Yeah. But they lost Hector Neris, possibly, unless he comes back.
Yeah. Kendall Graveman is the injury that I think prompted this because that also they went hard after Hader. But so you're going to move Ryan Presley to the 8th inning. You're going to have Hader for the 9th. And then your bullpen is stocked with power arms. Like they went from a really good bullpen to maybe the best bullpen in baseball.
You think they'll move Presley out of the ninth inning?
You're going to have Hader set up? No way. You're going to move Presley.
I bet it's based on matchup, to be honest.
But did you really pay Josh Hader $95 million to pick up holds?
Well, no, but if he's coming up against 2 out of 3 lefties in the 9th, then he'll save. But if he's coming up against 2 out of 3 lefties in the 8th, they might bring him in there and have Presley close. It's a good problem to have.
Well, it is a good problem to have. I mean, Hader splits are pretty nasty against both sides, and so are Presley's for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably you've got probably 4 guys in that bullpen that have closer stuff.
Yeah.
And literally you can just be like, tonight I'm going to go with and throw a dart at the board and just pick somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a comedy of riches. Yeah. They've got so many power arms in that bullpen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and signing him for 5 years is pretty big for them.
It is, because you're going to have some of those guys that kind of get to arbitration and move on, and you're going to have that one constant in your bullpen. But my God, I mean, if first of all, the 2 teams that desperately needed him were the Phillies and the Rangers. So by Houston taking him off the board, it really weakens their AL West opponent in the Rangers, and it prevents them from seeing him in the playoffs if they get to the World Series against the Phillies. Yeah. So strategically, it's a good idea to get him off the board, but then you throw him in your bullpen with all those power arms and forget about it. The Astros are going to turn every game into a 6-inning game now. If you don't beat them before the end of the 6th, it's over.
Well, and you look across the board, the market is almost telling that's how every team is doing this.
Has to be, because starters don't go deep anymore.
Right. And they don't want these starters to have humongous contracts. I mean, Dodgers aside, right? Blake Snell isn't getting what he's been asked. Like Montgomery's been non-existent. You haven't heard anything about his contract deals, but the starter market out there is nowhere to be had because, like who's going to pay top dollar for starters that go 5 innings, maybe.
Right.
And then they stock up their bullpens like the Astros and they can close out the game in the 5th. You're not going to pay a starting pitcher $350 million to just pitch 5 innings every 5 days. It doesn't make sense to put your money into those guys. It makes more sense to put money into your bullpen.
Yep.
Because they pitch every day or every other day, sometimes 3 days in a row. You're going to pay more to those guys. And just the way the game is being played now, by the time you hit the lineup the 3rd time around, the starter's out. Yeah,
there's very few starters are getting through more than 2 rounds in the of the lineup. And as we were talking, an article came out from ESPN about an hour ago. Josh Hader and the Astros are not ready to define his bullpen role because he's saying all the right things. I'm here to win baseball games. Ryan Presley is in the same boat as I am. We're in the same boat to do whatever we can to win. And we'll do what we have to do. But that bullpen you've got Hader, Presley, Rafael Montero, Ryan Abreu, who we saw quite a bit of in the playoffs.
Abreu's disgusting.
You've got those 4 guys to get you through the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Like, it's just not right.
Yeah, and
it's
they could always bring Hector Neris back, and we saw him a lot too.
You could, or they'll find some other young guy who comes up to the minor leagues. And the one thing I will say about Hader's contract is that you could argue that his contract is more lucrative than Diaz's, because although he's making 95 versus Diaz's 102, Diaz has $26.5 million deferred until 2042.
Yeah.
So for luxury tax purposes, his contract's valued at $93 million, which is technically less than Hader's. So they're arguing that Hader now has the most lucrative reliever contract in history.
Whatever.
It's like it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's crazy, but it's weird how the market has shifted completely, and teams aren't like making starting pitching the high priority.
It's not.
Or the top tier pitching.
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like starting pitchers are like running backs now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you need to go find like a stud. You need like that stud that anchors it, but like you can have a couple of scrubs that just kind of mix in.
Yep.
And you know that because of the pitch clock, they're not going to pitch as many innings, they're not going to pitch as deep into games, they're not going to see as many batters. And if you've got this stable full of 100-mile-per-hour throwing studs behind him, you don't want a starter out there till the 7th or 8th inning. You want to get them out after 6, keep them fresh for the season, and let these power arms come in and just smoke everybody.
Yep, 1,000%.
I mean, it's definitely, the strategy has changed. I think 1, because of the pitch clock, but I think 2, because it just makes more sense. Conserve your starters, bring the power, have a stable of power arms, make it a 6-inning game, and you're good. I mean, hell, Blake Snell won a Cy Young averaging 5 1/3 innings pitched. I mean, he barely qualified for the win every time out, but it worked. Because who was in the bullpen backing him up? Guys like Josh Hader.
Right.
Although the Padres are a bad example because they stunk, but still, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Another pretty cool free agent signing was Matt Carpenter's going back to the Cardinals for 1 year.
I thought for sure he was done.
I did too, but I think that's almost like come back home. Like
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Retire. Yeah, then you can retire.
And he's proved he's still got something left. It just, if they can find a way to use him right, I think he's got some value. The one guy I'm disappointed about, Nick, is we've heard nothing about Joey Votto.
I know.
And I'm not ready to believe that Joey Votto is done, but it's been really quiet. Really quiet.
Yeah, all I've seen is like the Blue Jays is kind of like the team still possibly kicking the tires there a little bit. But that's all I've really heard. Yeah,
there was something that came out a few days ago about Votto, and it was something similar to that. The Blue Jays are kicking the tires on him. He's gotten a couple of calls from some like AL Central teams that are, kind of like maybe looking for a cheap bat, but not a lot of activity for him. So kind of surprised and disappointed by that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just about an hour ago, Aroldis Chapman signs with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So like Harrison said right back in the text, he goes, well, he'll be traded at the deadline back to the Rangers to make,
Yeah. Is he already negotiating where he's going to get traded to? Because he did it last year with the Royals, basically said, great, but at the deadline, I want to be traded if we're not in contention.
Yeah.
The Royals were like, well, of course we won't be in contention. So we'll clearly trade you.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
And honestly, he was a liability for the Rangers. So there may not be a big market for him anymore.
An absolute liability.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
It was insane, man.
But man, the Rangers losing out on Hader and still having no answer in that bullpen is scary.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be if you're Texas Rangers.
No, the Rangers outslugged their bullpen issues, but as we saw in the playoffs, it bit them a couple of times. They're lucky it didn't hurt them more than it did.
Yeah, I agree fully. All right. we are going to get into one of our favorite segments in the last couple
right.
weeks, some blurred trivia. So if you are watching, you can chime in. If not, we are cutting these up and putting them on reels, and we're even getting some people, some followers comment on it and make their guesses and stuff. So here we
So just for my own
go.
purposes, have you made these like extremely hard this go around, or are you taking a little bit easier?
I think you could get most of these guys,
All right.
to be completely fair. So here we go. Played from 2011 to 2015 for Detroit and Seattle Mariners.
Nice choice in the hat tonight.
Yep, exactly. No All-Star appearances, 1.3 career WAR, 3.97 career ERA, relief pitcher. Who is this?
It's our local celebrity, Charlie Furbush from South Portland, Maine.
It totally is Charlie Furbush.
I was like, that's a pretty good ERA for a guy who's had such a short career.
Right? Yeah. Good old Charlie Furbush from Maine. Love it.
I remember when I remember the first time I saw him pitch, it was against the Red Sox, and I want to say he went through and K'd like Manny and Ortiz or something like that in order.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. That's pretty impressive for a kid from Maine.
It was so cool. So if you don't know his backstory, I played with him at St. Joseph's College, a little D3 school, and I played first base when he pitched, and just watching him, knowing that you weren't gonna get any action because he was just mowing down these D3 hitters.
Well, and he's so tall and lanky, like it was just all legs and arms flying at you.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So he goes to the Cape Cod League after his freshman year. This D3 kid goes to the Cape Cod League, starts the All-Star game as a freshman, and then transfers out to LSU, finishes his career there, gets drafted by the Tigers. So it was really cool to play. He did pretty well. But yeah, and fast track to the majors pretty quick. I mean, lefty reliever that throws 93, you're going to get there. So
yeah, right. I mean, it's the thing. There's not a he's built different, as the kids all say.
Right.
But he literally was. I mean, he had that long, lanky frame, generated a lot of whip, good velocity, good off-speed stuff, good command too. For usually those lanky guys have a tough time locating.
Yeah.
But out of the bullpen, he was a nasty little weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next one. Played from 1995 to 2009, then with injury, took a year off. Got 2011 to 2012 with the Mets, Oakland, St. Louis, Tampa, the Mets, and the Angels. Two-time All-Star, 3.64 career ERA, and a relief pitcher. I remember him most of his time in St. Louis. Who is this? Long last name, number 44.
Yep. He had his same last name as like the reporter, right?
I don't know.
Oh, he threw hard.
Possibly.
Was it Jordan something?
No. Nope.
You know who I'm talking about, though, don't you?
Well, yeah, because I know who it is.
Oh no! So sorry. The other guy. The name I'm confusing him with.
Jordan Hicks.
No. Oh man, I'll look it up after this.
This is.
Oh, Isringhausen.
It is Jason.
Oh
Isringhausen.
Yeah. I'm looking at him going, I should know the name. Yeah, I was thinking of there was a kid. He had the same last name as the reporter.
Yeah, I have no idea.
He threw gas, then he got hurt, and he kind of disappeared. I'll figure out who it was.
Okay.
All right. I'm glad I got that before you unveiled it because it would have really pissed me off.
Yeah, right. All right, next one. Played from 1985 to 2001 with California, Toronto, Florida, Arizona, Dodgers, and the Brewers. 3-time All-Star, 7-time Gold Glove, and he's a center fielder. Who's this?
Oh, was that Devon White?
It is Devon White. Nice job.
I used to love watching him play. He could do a little bit of everything. He was the right-handed Kenny Lofton.
He was a switch hitter.
Oh, that's right. But I always pictured him as a right-handed hitter because he hit right-handed so much. But that's right. I forgot he was a switch hitter.
Yeah, and he was on that Blue Jays team in 92, 93 when they won the World Series.
Yeah, so. He was a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next one.
On White.
The background is a clue here.
I was going to say, man, oh man, what's the background?
Played from 2000 to 2011 with Montreal, Cleveland, Dodgers, Oakland, San Diego, Texas, Cubs, and Seattle.
New team every year.
You'll know why in a second. 125 career home runs, 271 career average, and he's an outfielder known for his hot head. Who is this?
Oh, is that Milton Bradley?
It is Milton Bradley. 1000%.
Immediately knew who it was.
Milton. Yeah.
He was certifiably nuts.
Yeah, 1,000%.
He and Carl Everett, who did he headbutt an ump? Is that what Everett did?
Probably at some point.
These guys were nuts. Milton Bradley, the number of times that dude came close to just like killing somebody.
Just look at the face of the manager. He's like, God damn it, not again.
Yeah, it's like daycare with this guy.
Holding him back.
What's too bad is that Milton Bradley was so talented.
Yeah.
If he could have just shut his mouth and calmed down and played, he would have been a great player.
Yeah. It's man.
But he made himself like such a liability.
Absolutely nuts.
Oh my
All right. Next one.
That was a good one. The flame in the background was perfect.
Yeah. Here we go. Played from 2010 to 2020 with San Diego, St. Louis, the Dodgers, and the Brewers. 121 career home runs, 245 career average, and he's an infielder. Who is this? This is a really tough one. I think this one's going to be the hardest one we have tonight.
Flip back up. San Diego, St. Louis.
I remember him mostly with the Cardinals. That's why I chose the Cardinals picture.
All right. So in that time frame, it's not David Freese.
Nope. More obscure than that.
Yeah, it's too big a swing for a guy like Eckstein. Infielder.
Yeah. I think this was the toughest one I got.
Is it Walker?
No, it's a good guess. This is Jed Jerko.
Oh, good God. Not at all. We could have been here all night. I wasn't getting that one.
Yeah, Jed Jerko.
Oh, man. Yeah, I do remember him vaguely, but.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, next one.
What a name.
Right? I love it.
Oh, man.
All right. Played from 2003 to 2015 with Kansas City, Oakland, the Cubs, Washington, Tampa, and the Angels. 99 career home runs.
That sucks to be one short of the 100 mark.
Right? 275 career average. Bats left, throws left, and he's an outfielder. Who is this?
It's a lot of teams.
This might actually be a little tough one, too.
All right, so flip back up real quick. Now I've seen the picture to 15.
I remember him mostly with Kansas City. I'll give you that hint.
Yeah, so like, was he there like in the Alex Gordon time?
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, they had a weird outfield. They had a couple of guys that rotated in and out.
Mm-hmm. This is David DeJesus.
Oh, I used to like David DeJesus too. He was one of those guys who was like a streaky good player.
Yep. David of the Jesus.
David of the Jesus. He was a good little ball player. He was a kind of a fourth outfielder type.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was one of the guys that rotated in and out of that outfield when they were making those World Series runs.
Yep. Solid. All right. Next one. Played from 1996, 2007 with Oakland, Anaheim, Seattle, and St. Louis. 2 World Series appearances. Switch hitter, throws right, and played every position in the infield except for shortstop. Who is this?
Oh.
He's number 26. You can kind of see that on the picture.
Yeah, this one's going to bother me.
Yeah, and as soon as you see this name, you're going to be like, oh, man, I forgot about this guy.
Oh. I know I'm going to see the name and be like, oh, duh.
Yep.
Jump back up real quick. Oakland, Anaheim, Seattle through 2007. Oh, this one's going to bother me.
Yep. This is Scott Spezio.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember with the Athletics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
All right. Next one.
Another like super utility guy that was really valuable.
Yep. 1,000%. All right, here we go. Played from 1993 to 2005, and then 2008 to 2010 with the Mariners, Astros. Yeah. So played with the Mariners, Astros, Mets, Rockies, Atlanta, Houston, and Arizona. Had a 246 batting average, 22 doubles, 5 triples, 16 home runs, and 79 RBIs in his career.
What?
He's a pitcher. Who is this?
Oh, Mike Hampton.
Mike Hampton, yeah.
For sure. The home runs, I'm like, only guy during that time that hit home runs was Hampton.
Yeah.
Like the dude used to pinch hit.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most impressive part is he would pinch hit for people.
The guy could rake.
He could. It's a shame he didn't get to hit every day.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was a layup. Here's the next one.
Well, you owed me one after Spezio and DeJesus. Jesus.
You're welcome. And Jed Jerko.
Yeah, right. Right.
All right. Played from 2005 to 2011 with the Colorado Rockies. 42 career home runs. He's a current announcer for the Rockies. He's an outfielder. Who is this?
Oh, man. It looks like Derek Bell, but it's not Derek Bell.
Not Derek Bell.
Gonzalez? No, he played longer than that.
And he was a lefty.
Yep.
This is Ryan Spilborghs.
Oh, nice. It's a name I've never heard in a long time.
Yep. So yeah, he's currently announcing for the Rockies.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I didn't know he only played for the Rockies too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I could have sworn he played somewhere else.
Yeah.
But interesting. I'm another one of those guys who was pretty good major leaguer for a little while, and then that's the thing. The average career for these guys is only like 4 or 5 seasons.
Right.
You don't see not a lot of long-term guys.
No. But all right.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
This one's going to be a tough one too.
Ooh,
so played from 1991 to 2001, and he was like up and down, up and down, up and down his entire career.
Awesome. He's like the Lou Merlone of those teams.
Yeah, with Milwaukee and Oakland. I remember him.
If you're going up and down with Oakland, there's a problem.
I remember him mostly with Oakland.
Okay.
141 career home runs, first base, third base, and left field. Who is this?
Oh, he actually does. This one actually looks more familiar than I thought it would.
I think you'll know this name too when you see it.
Yeah, right-handed.
Pretty big guy.
Yeah, it looks like he's a pretty big guy. Little beard on him.
Yeah.
Oakland and Milwaukee. So I was back in the days of like Chavez and those guys.
Yeah.
Actually, the early side of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is John Jaha.
Oh, yes. I do remember John Jaha.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a name that, he was very much a fringe player.
Yeah.
But he'd have like a 2-week stretch where he was you couldn't get him out.
Yeah.
And then he'd disappear for the rest of the season, like Brian Dahlback with the Red Sox.
Right. He looks like he's about to hit this ball to the moon.
It does. He's either going to whiff miserably or hit this thing to the moon.
Yeah.
John Jaha, that's a good one. I remember him more with the Brewers.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I think him as a Brewer.
All right. Here we go. Played from 1995 to 2006 with Colorado, Tampa, Minnesota, Arizona, Seattle, Arizona again.
Might as well.
And then the Reds. Switch hitter, throws right-handed. He's an outfielder. Who is this?
Oh. Mark McLemore.
Oh, that's a great guess. It's not Mark.
Oh, it's not? Oh, my goodness.
That was a really good guess, though.
Oh, I thought for sure that was McLemore. Oh, boy. That was my guess.
Okay.
I got nothing else.
This is Quentin McCracken.
Oh, of course, Quentin Phil McCracken.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quentin McCracken.
I enjoyed him. He was fun. He was a fun guy to watch.
Yeah. Mark McLemore, though. That was a solid guess.
Yep, I thought for sure it was McLemore.
Man, good one.
Quentin McCracken's a good one, though.
Yeah. All right. Played from 1988 to 2002 with Oakland, Giants, Cincinnati, White Sox, Dodgers, Boston, the Cubs. Only 27 career home runs, a 10.5 career WAR. He played center field. Who is this? He is in a Boston uniform here.
Is that Darren Lewis?
It is Darren Lewis.
Yeah, Darren, my boy Lewis.
Job. Yeah, Darren Lewis.
He another guy he'd have these streaks where he was just untouchable or you couldn't get him out. Yeah. And then he would be ice cold.
Yep. I mean, 27 career home runs. I thought he had more than that, but
he used to bang a lot of balls off the Green Monster.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a doubles machine there for a while.
Yeah.
It's a good one. That's a name I have not heard in a long time. He and David Buford used to be swapping in and out over there.
I actually had him in the slide and I changed him out for Darren Lewis.
Did you really? That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Played from 2011 to 2019 with the Reds and the Angels. One-time All-Star with the Reds. A shortstop and third baseman. Who's this? Mostly a shortstop in his time in Cincinnati.
Oh, interesting. It's not Gonzalez.
No.
Say Hardy was the Brewers. We already had Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Scooter, right?
Not Scooter. No.
Who was the shortstop then? So he would have been the shortstop after Barry Larkin.
Yeah. I mean, there might have been a couple fill-ins after him, but yeah.
Oh God, I know who it is too.
He was pretty decent for them in his run there.
Yep.
This is Zach Cozart.
Yep. Oh crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I know this one's gonna. You're gonna say it, and I'm like, oh.
It's so easy for me on this side. I don't understand why you aren't getting these.
Yeah, right. Well, I love it when it's like blah blah blah, one-time All-Star. It's like, oh man.
Right. Well, here you go. Here's another one.
This is the guy that I never saw a headline for. So okay.
Yeah. All right. Played from 2001 to 2013 with Detroit, Oakland, and Pittsburgh. Most of his career was in Detroit. Okay. One-time All-Star, 152 career home runs, third base and catcher. Who is this? You got it. Come on.
I know who it is.
Uh-huh.
No.
I don't know how else to give you any more hints on him either.
Oh my God, I know exactly who it is, and I honestly cannot give you a name. It's not Inge. It is Inge. Yes, I saved it.
Brandon Inge.
I was like, oh, I know who this is.
Yep.
He used to hit the most random bombs, and they were big boy bombs.
Yep. 1,000%. Yes, Brandon Inge.
Oh, there it is. I'm looking at him going, this one might kill me if I don't get
it. Yep. All right. Played from 2006 to 2016 with the Dodgers, Boston, Tampa, and the Mets. 6th place in Rookie of the Year voting. First baseman. I remember him mostly with the Dodgers and a little bit with the Rays. But who is this?
It's not Gonzalez.
Nope, not Gonzalez. Boston had him like briefly. I'm talking.
I was going to say, yeah,
briefly.
Don't recognize that path through Boston.
It might have been only the back half of the season, and then we had that epic collapse in September.
Oh yeah, those are fun. Hop up again.
He played with like Matt Kemp and all them.
Carlos Pena?
No, not Carlos Pena.
He played with Kemp.
This is James Loney.
Yep.
He was briefly with the Sox. I don't think
he was there for like 60 days and they imploded.
Yeah.
And then he's a free agent.
Yeah. All right.
He was a good glove guy too.
Yeah, he was. All right. Played from 1989 to 2008 with Texas, the Yankees, Oakland, Mets, Texas again, Minnesota,
Wow.
Texas for a third time,
Jeez.
and Detroit. 219 career wins, 4-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove winner,
Wow.
and a pitcher. Who is this?
Kenny Rogers.
It is Kenny Rogers. Layup. You're welcome.
Thank you. I needed that after blowing it on James Loney.
Yeah. Kenny Rogers.
I used to like watching him pitch. He was a bulldog, and
he was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was. If you were going to beat him, it was because you beat him. He wasn't giving you anything.
Yeah. All right. Played from 1995 to 2006 with the Dodgers, Rockies, Texas, Florida, the Cubs, Atlanta, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
Jeez.
Rookie of the Year, 2003 World Series, and he's an outfielder. Who is this?
2003 World. So he was with either the Marlins or the Yankees.
He was with the Marlins at the time.
Does his last name start with an S?
No, starts with an H.
Not who I thought it was.
Who are you thinking?
I'll butcher the name. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Starts with an H. Oh, no.
Pretty long last name too.
Yep. Not like a Henrietta. There's a. Oh. Yeah, this one's gonna.
This one is Todd Hollandsworth.
Hollandsworth. Yep, there it is.
Todd Hollandsworth.
Man, just another one of those like fringe players who was good.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I'm reaching deep. You guys were
good, but not great.
Yeah. You guys were taking me to the ringers the last 2 weeks, just getting everyone.
We had a good run. You ruined it.
You're welcome. All right. Played from 2000 to 2010 with Oakland, Colorado, Baltimore, Arizona, and Seattle. 109 career home runs, 129 stolen bases.
Wow.
An outfielder. I think this picture is going to give him away. Pretty popular player-ish during that time. Who is this?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy played balls to the wall.
He did.
Every single night.
He's Eric Burns.
Eric Burns.
Yeah,
yes.
And he's an announcer now with MLB Network, and I'm gonna forget his name.
Yeah.
He was nuts. Burns. I mean, he would like the days of Pete Rose, like Supermaning into a base, like that's what he did.
Yeah. My lasting image of him was he made the last out for the Diamondbacks back when they were in the playoffs and didn't quite make it, but he grounded out to short. And I've never seen a guy run so hard to first base. And he literally dove like halfway down the baseline to try to beat it.
Yeah.
And
he was like
just that type of player.
1,000% effort all the time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep.
All right. Played from 1993 to 2007 with Montreal, the Cubs, the Yankees, the Padres, the Royals, the Tigers, and Minnesota. 1-time All-Star, 198 career home runs, 284 average, and he's an outfielder. Who is this?
Is that Chili Davis?
Not Chili Davis. Chili Davis was a lefty. Or was he switch?
No, he's a switch hitter, yeah. I think he was a switch hitter. Oh, boy. Scroll back up real quick. Montreal, the Cubs, Yankees, Padres, Royals, Detroit, Minnesota.
His last name is also a color.
A color?
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. And I'm going to say the name and be like, oh, yeah, I remember him.
This is Rondell White.
Oh, yes, Rondell White. I should have gotten that one. That was bad.
It's all good.
That was bad.
Yeah. So that's all I had for blurred trivia.
Man,
this week.
You were really pulling some fringe players on this one. Whew.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's fun when they're hard. Like when we just get every single one, it's like, oh, it's too bad.
I know. I was like, I did all that work, and you guys were just like, bam. Yeah. I was like, okay. All right. So next segment, what do these players have in common? So I'll post a picture.
Oh, yeah.
and it'll have 3 or 4, sometimes 5 or 6 players on it, and you have to tell me what they all have in common. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So here we go. What do these players have in common? Byron Buxton, Chase Utley, Kyle Tucker, and hold up, Alexi Casilla.
I was gonna say, do you not know who the other guy is?
I had to pull it up. I forgot.
Oh boy, what do they have in common? All right, so you had Buxton's a center fielder, Utley's at second, Tucker's an outfielder, Casillas was an outfielder too, right?
I believe so. Yeah, he might have been utility. He might have played.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I think you're right. Not necessarily
Casilla's picture is as a hint.
stolen bases.
Yeah, sorta. It's highest career stolen bases to date.
Oh, percentage. Oh, okay. All right.
Percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, but Chase Utley stole what, like 4 bases?
Yeah. But yep. So this is the highest career stolen base percentage leaders career at
Wow,
this
I would not
moment.
have put those guys in that group.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Wow. 80 Byron Buxton's also only played like 9 games, so
No, but he's crazy fast too.
he is ridiculously fast. When he's healthy, there's not many guys faster than him. But Utley, that one, how many career steals does Utley have? I'm looking it up. Because I think early in his career he actually stole quite a few bags.
I would imagine I would go with that. I don't know
100
how many.
154 steals. His highest was 23. He was
Yeah.
good for like 12 to 15 a season. So that's
Mhm.
actually pretty impressive.
He guessed 1 overall. Not a bad guess, but no.
That's not a bad guess. No.
All right. Here's the next set of pictures. Tyler Glasnow, Chris Martin, Michael Rucker, Craig Stamen, and Domingo Herman.
They all have drinking problems. Oh, wait. No,
Probably,
sorry.
but no.
Well, let's see. What is Herman's known for? His perfecto and his off the field problems. Glasnow is known for injuries.
I'll give you this hint. These are the last 5 to do something in a major league game. Actually, in a single inning. I'll even give you that hint.
4 strikeouts?
Yes.
All right.
Last 5 to have a 4K inning.
Because I remember Herman getting one.
Yep. So, yeah.
Wow, Glasnow did it this year?
Yep.
Huh.
So, and then was on the shelf for 8 months.
Yeah. So then he took the rest of the season off.
Yeah, right. Okay. Next one. Christian Yelich, Trey
Adrian
Turner, and Adrian Beltre.
I love me some Adrian Beltre. He should be absolutely in the Hall of Fame. All right. Yelich, Turner. Oh, boy. Well, so let's see.
We actually had a trivia question about Yelich a couple months ago
Is it the
concerning
cycle against the same team?
Yes, but it's career cycles.
Okay, career cycles.
Only
Wait.
players in modern era with 3 career cycles.
Beltre's got 3?
Yep.
Wow. All right.
Crazy. And there is a 4th, but he played in like 1920 something.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Yeah.
Skippy Fairbanks from the
Yeah.
Highlanders back in the
Yeah.
in the 20s.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Mickey Mantle, Eddie Murray, Chipper Jones, Carlos Beltran.
That's good company.
I feel this one's kind of a layup. This one's the easier one of the slides I have tonight.
Oh, great. I'm just looking at this going, I have no idea what these guys have in common. Let's see. So Chipper was a switch hitter, Beltran's a switch hitter, Murray and Mantle were not.
Yes, they were.
Mantle was?
Yes, sir.
I thought okay, fair enough.
You are on the right track.
Home runs for switch hitters.
Yes. Nice job. Career home runs.
Because didn't Murray stop switch hitting during his career, or did he continue?
I think he continued.
All right.
He maybe towards the end of his career he might have stopped, but I always remember him hitting from both sides.
I don't remember Mantle as a switch hitter. Why do I not remember Mantle as a switch hitter?
Yeah. He had more power from the right side, they said.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. But all of his pictures he's left-handed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Otis Nixon. I love anything with Otis Nixon in it.
Otis Nixon, Eric Young Sr., and Carl Crawford.
Eric Young. See, I love the fact he's got to be a senior.
Well, there's Eric Young's juniors in the MLB.
Oh, that's right. He is in the MLB now. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Crawford, Young, Nixon, those guys stole a lot of bases.
On the right track.
I'm gonna say something like stealing home.
Nope, not stealing home.
Most consecutive, highest percentage.
Nope.
I already did that one.
You're like so far. Carl Crawford's the last one to do this, and it was against the Red Sox.
Oh, is it steal all three?
Not all three. Well, he did. It's the last. Go ahead. What's your guess?
Is it just the stealing home part? The last three guys steal home?
No,
because Billy Hamilton did it.
Yeah, a couple guys did it this year, I think.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. All right. What is it?
These are the last three players to have 6 steals in a single game.
6 in a game?
6 in a game. Yep.
Good Lord. Yeah, I remember Crawford having he tortured the Red Sox. Then he came to the Red Sox and continued to torture the Red Sox.
Yep. Just like every team's gonna for the next 5 or 6 years now.
I've never seen a player go from one team to the next and be so bad.
Yeah.
He was so bad.
Worst contract.
It's like he was in there as like a spy.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. CJ Crone, Delino DeShields, Ken Griffey, Vlad Guerrero, Bobby Witt, and Fernando Tatis.
Oh, all right. They've all got dads that played baseball.
But more specifically.
Oh, they're all juniors.
Yes, they're all juniors. All juniors of former MLB players.
Yeah. You with that list, you're like, okay, they all had dads that played. That one's an easy one.
And then I think that was last week's. But yeah. So all done with those.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It always amazes me when you've got that father-son or the sibling connection. Like, it's so hard to get one into Major League Baseball, but when you get like multiple family members in, it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. He says Ellie De La Cruz did it, but he didn't hit. Was that for the cycles? I don't know. But
yeah.
But yeah. So those are fun to have, but I will maybe work on some more for next week.
Those are fun because they're just so obscure.
Yeah. I have a whole list of other ones I'm ready to put together. So
are you picking the players still by asking your wife like to pick a random team in a random year and you just grab somebody off the roster?
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
1,000%. All right.
So we really have no idea what's coming.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ellie stole all 3 bases, he said. In a game. Yeah.
Yeah. Ellie literally in one, they were in succession, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably on consecutive pitches.
He stole second, next pitch he stole third, and then he came home.
Yeah, dude's an animal. Man, crazy.
Freak.
All right, a couple things to wrap up before we head out tonight. We got news that the Mets are retiring Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry's numbers. I mean, Doc Gooden, I kind of get, and I know Darryl Strawberry was huge for them in the 80s with the Mets. I don't know. I mean, their career, Doc Gooden's career was really short, but dominant. I mean, I get it. But so I think Doc's retired in like April, and I think Strawberry's is slated for like June, I think is what I saw.
And I can appreciate what Cohen's doing here. I mean, he's kind of honoring 2
legends.
They're more like,
Mets legends.
Yeah, they're more like cult heroes than they are like baseball legends. I mean, nothing against Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden. They had good careers, but like Darryl Strawberry's got 1,400 career hits.
Yeah.
335 home runs, 259 career batting average, 1,000 RBIs. Like, he is not Hall of Fame worthy. He's not like retire your number worthy. But I can appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you think about the Mets in the 80s, like you think Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry, like think
they were the poster children for those teams, 100%.
Yeah. So
I think Steve Cohen, the fan, is taking advantage of being the owner too and doing what he wants to do.
1,000%, and I'm on board for it.
Yeah, and I'm cool with it. Like I don't. Those guys were a kind of a generation of Mets baseball. That's how big they were.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then the last thing I have tonight, I know you sometimes have things at the end, but the last thing I have, sorry, goodness, the White Sox could possibly get a new stadium, and they're talking about the South Loop area. Sure, I mean, cool, and how U.S. Cellular is not that old, I don't think, right? They had old
Not
Comiskey in the '90s, and then they built U.S. Cellular not that long ago, I didn't think.
91. Well, now it's guaranteed rate field, but yeah, they built that in
Guaranteed
91.
rate.
So
Okay.
it's 30. What is that? 33 years old.
So they must have just renamed it. It must have been Comiskey, and then they just renamed it and
Yeah,
put the
because say it was formerly Comiskey, then U.S. Cellular, now
okay.
guaranteed rate. So yeah, it's been the same. It's been the same ballpark. They did some
Gotcha.
major renovations to it,
Yeah,
but it's still the same ballpark since 91.
gotcha.
But
So
it's
yeah.
like they can't put a decent product in the field. Like, why worry about the ballpark?
Because they're probably thinking a new stadium's easier than rebuilding a team.
There's
You
might be some truth to that.
you get a new stadium, people are going to want to go and check it out, and
That's
that's
true.
how you get fans back into the seats because that team. We talk about the Red Sox being a hot mess, like whew, that organization right now, man. I can't even wrap my mind around them either.
No, that's a really hot mess.
So yeah, I don't know. Cool for them, I guess. But
Yeah,
it was
I
just
mean,
kind of
awesome.
yeah. So I'll have to get to that Chicago stadium before they wipe that one off the face of the earth. So
Yeah, and my understanding from people that have been there is it's not a very good ballpark.
no,
So it's not like a big worry about it.
yeah. So well, that's all I had for tonight. Do you have anything to add?
So I got a couple of interesting things for you. So
Bring it.
the Oakland Athletics, as of 2 days ago, had actually toured a new ballpark in South Jordan, Utah, as their potential temporary home while they're waiting for their ballpark in Vegas to open. So the A's are very much on the hunt for that temporary home because they're going to relocate here and they're going to have to wait a couple years for an actual permanent home in Vegas. So they're searching for a kind of a 2-year option, 1 or 2 year option, depending on when it's going to be finished. And so the A's have looked in Sacramento, Reno, and they've now checked out a place in Utah looking for a potential temporary home.
Yeah, because I know they were thinking about possibly like splitting home games with the Giants and then like a couple minor league games with the Reno Aces and like just kind of like stadium hopping for their home games. And it's like they probably want to do what the Blue Jays did during COVID.
Yep.
And find a minor league stadium that they can like set up shop in.
Yeah. And this is a 7,500 seat stadium, which is probably all the tickets they'd sell anyways. And because they're not going to be good till they get to Vegas.
Right.
So, this, dropping anchor in Utah for a year or two may not be a bad deal if they can get into a newer, nicer minor league stadium. So,
yeah.
Cool. And then a fan favorite and somebody I've really enjoyed watching, Charlie Culberson, is actually he got sent down to the minor leagues last year, asked the Braves for a chance to pitch. So Culberson is actually working to become a pitcher, a reliever to continue his career at the Braves.
Yeah.
Apparently, he throws some gas. He's been in the 90s. He has a low to mid 90s fastball that they're working with him to develop and help him become a reliever for them to extend his career.
That's awesome. I love when guys like find a way to stay in the big leagues, right? We've talked about Tim Wakefield, RIP in peace. Because he came up as a shortstop and he's like, listen, I'm not gonna make it. I gotta find a way to stay here. He develops this knuckleball just dicking around in the outfield. And they're like, dude, I can't even catch this. Like, guys aren't going to be able to hit this. And then he has a long career. I mean, like, it's really cool to see guys that are that athletic to do that. First of all, to have, I mean, I wish, like I say all the time, I have that much, talent in their pinky finger. Like,
yes,
I wish, but I don't. That's why I'm sitting here talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see guys adapt and change and prolong their careers. It's really cool.
Yeah. So when he was down in Gwinnett, he was working as a reliever, throwing in the low to mid 90s. They're working with him to develop. They were working on a cutter, a slider, a changeup, trying to develop some other pitches for him to make him a real viable kind of bullpen option. But cool for him, 34-year-old utility guy trying to extend his career. He just so happens to throw gas, which certainly helps.
Yeah.
But interesting. And then last one. So as a lot of states have changed their minimum wage requirements, minor league baseball is now kind of in the radar of a lot of these states who are saying, with what you pay these minor leaguers and the amount of work they put in, you're probably underpaying them based on our labor laws. So
no, they're not. They don't underpay minor leaguers.
No. So in Arizona, as of yesterday, Major League Baseball is actually going to have to raise the rate of any minor leaguers playing in Arizona, which is a lot of them, because of Arizona's change in their minimum wage. And so MLB is trying to go in front of the state to try to petition to have minor league baseball exempted from the minimum wage, because they don't work a standard set hour job.
Right.
And it's really it's a performance-based thing, blah, blah, blah. So, but this is MLB is getting ahead of this because this is going to become a problem in other states who are set to raise their minimum wages, which would put minor league baseball in the crosshairs there too.
I mean, they are underpaid. I mean, unless you're Brusne Castillo and you make $95 million a year, but
yeah, to be in the minors. But these guys don't get paid jack. I mean, they're making next to no money. They're getting a daily stipend for food, and then when the season's over, they get nothing. So, I mean, I get it. Like, you're chasing the dream and you know what you're getting into, but these guys are on sticky buses for an insane amount of hours, trying to hone their craft, make it to the next level. And they don't get paid jack. So it's interesting as minimum wage laws are changing, how minor league baseball is now getting caught up in it.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, if the Red Sox had to pay more to minor leaguers, they might have to trade like Yoshida just to afford that.
Right. Nuts.
Got to cut payroll.
Yep. All right. So before we go, we're still waiting on Snell. We're still waiting on Montgomery. We're still waiting on, Reese Hoskins is still out there. Bellinger's still out there. I mean, there's still some other names out there that we're waiting for. And pitchers and catchers are now 3 weeks away.
3 weeks away.
I mean, at this point, we don't know Kershaw's decision.
Yeah, this is nothing from Kershaw.
No. Jorge Soler still out there. JD Martinez, Adam Duvall. There's still some names. Matt Chapman. Still waiting.
Big names out there.
Yeah, I don't know what we're waiting for here. So
the prices aren't dropping, fellas. Let's get some contracts signed, get on some rosters.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know what's going on,
and I was convinced that we were going to see a flurry of activity there in December and right out of the first of the year, and it's been even quieter.
I thought we were going to see stuff this week, legit. Like,
I thought it was going to blow up at some point after the first of the year, and it hasn't.
No,
I don't know what these guys are doing. I don't know what kind of conversations are being had, but there's a lot of talent still just like waiting for a home.
Yeah. At this point, if they're not going to sign, like, teams are just going to be like, all right, well, we're just going to move on.
Right. We're going to start spring training and then we're going to get you at a discount when you realize you've got, you're losing time to get ready.
Right. I mean, I know Bryce Harper signed really late when he signed.
He did.
But these guys aren't Bryce Harper. Like, no. That's the difference.
And especially where, like, you've got like high-end pitchers here in Montgomery and Snell. Like, those guys need to be at spring training in 3 weeks. Like, they need a home.
Yeah. So
this is weird. I feel like this is really, really weird.
Yeah. I've been saying it for the last 3 weeks. So maybe this week we'll actually see some free agent signings. But yeah, and he makes a good point too. And Votto, like, I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier, but like we want to see this guy play another year. We love Joey Votto on this podcast.
Huge Votto fan.
All about Joey Votto. I was so mad. So I actually got to the Cincinnati Reds games. I know you're a Reds fan, so I'll tell you. Actually got to go to a Reds game and a Guardians game, just did a little road trip. And that was the year Votto was injured, so I didn't get to see him. I was so bummed. But did see Pujols hit 694, I think it was.
Yep.
So that was awesome. But
yeah, and we talked about earlier in the show, like, and I made the comment of like, I'm concerned there's been no discussion about Votto because Major League Baseball needs him to stay around.
Yes.
Like, he is such a personality. He'd be so good on a young team. If I'm a team like the Guardians or the Reds, I know the Reds have already said pass, but like a team like that, the Pirates, that has a lot of young players, bringing a guy like that in is only going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't lose.
No. Yeah, we love everything he does for baseball and really hopes that he finds a home. So,
and if he doesn't sign a contract to play, MLB better put him in some kind of a job in the main office as like some sort of ambassador to the game, because MLB cannot afford to lose that man from baseball.
no.
Just can't. You can't do it. You can't let him go.
Nope. Fully agree. So
I wish the Red Sox would sign people like that.
I just wish the Red Sox would sign somebody.
We just sign people.
I
I don't even care who.
Yeah, it could be Joe Schmo off the street.
I don't care if Nick Arno's our fifth starter. Just sign somebody, even if it's wrong.
Dude, I'll give you 52 miles an hour on a good day, and I'll get 1 or 2 outs a month.
right. It's a bullpen game every time Arno's out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to bring my knuckleball out of retirement and go out there.
I don't have a knuckleball. I got a spinner. So
yeah, I got a spinner. I got the gopher ball. That's what I throw.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, thank you for chiming in. It was really fun. Before we go, just make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back on next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hopefully with some free agent news. Probably not, though. So,
please,
anyways,
sign.
Yeah, we'll have some news. I'm sure something will come out. So we will be chit-chatting about that next Monday. We'll see if Sean's back. And we will see you next Monday at 8 p.m.